right, everybody, welcome tonight. We are rolling, as you know, from the Palatial Studios, towering 13 feet high above South Mercer Street, broadcasting from the 16125 zip code. Everybody's piling in here now on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course, a big hello to all of our Integrity Television folks that are joining in. Look at here, guys. Annie Terry is en route to Mexico. Our local missionary daughter flew into Los Angeles today and was treated to a little sightseeing. She messaged me from Beverly Hills, called me, and said, "Dad, the homes in Beverly Hills are a little bit different than the homes in Greenville, Pennsylvania." And I said, "What do you mean, Annie? It's Beverly Hills and Greenville? Are you kidding me? It's the same. There's no difference. Dad, we went to this place called Rodeo Drive." She's getting some experience, and right now her and the team are en route to the Mexican border. They will be crossing over this evening, and I think we're going to be bringing them in as a live guest next week, and maybe during their journeys all throughout the world over the next month. Big hello to everybody. Rhonda Hodge, I see Ray Fell still at the Cobblestone Hotel. We hope that the home is getting all better and ready to go. Linda Cassio, God bless you. Elaine DeWolf, look at here. Richmond, Virginia, up in the house. Ronald Lee Ann Vander. Lyle and Susan Anderson, God bless you as well. It is nice to see everybody up in here. We are going to have a great time. And as I said, of course, a special big welcome to Integrity Television joining us live tonight on their great channel. It is going to be an incredible night. We are absolutely locked and loaded. I mean, there is so much stuff that's going to be chalked in to this evening. It is going to be nonstop run and gun and full action. I mean, this is like an adventure movie coming up tonight. It is fantastic. So God bless all of you guys. As you know, we have been working on the Scale It Down project. And of course, my weigh-in will be coming at the end of August. So it is time to check in on what is happening with Scale It Down. And I've got viewers who are participating in this program who are sending me their results. Folks, it's time to check out what's going on.
Let's see, I'm not too hungry this morning. I'll just have orange juice, bowl of cereal, stack of wheats, 3 eggs over. Make sure they ain't running out.
Right.
Bacon on the crisp side, white toast buttered, hash brown potatoes, and coffee. Coffee.
Does my heart good to see a thin person eat.
And folks, it's time for the Scale It Down. As you know, PG, after the COVID year, is working on getting healthy. The biceps are coming back. I mean, this is Hulk Hogan pythons. Check that thing out right there. It is rolling. We're working on the python that is around the waistline, and that is coming along. Look at here, Mary and Leonard Fireball checking in from Roanoke, Virginia. Bill and Rita Terry, big hellos back at you. And I love it. People just talking to each other. This is what it's supposed to be. We are building a community. In fact, I was talking today to Stephen Haywood, and I've got a little push we're going to do in the future. We'll hear more about that later. But, you know, we've been working on the Scale It Down, and I started at the 221.4 number. Went to 219.8, went to 217.8, and today we are 216.2. 216.2. We've dropped 5.2. Now, I've got some other viewers that have been messaging in that they also are working on getting healthy this summer. And one of our viewers messaged in and says, PG, I have lost 18 pounds or 16 or 18. Hey, that is awesome. You're blowing me away. But I'm going to try to catch you. So as a part of that, the beverages are rolling in. You guys are doing great. The refrigerator is getting stocked. And tonight, beverage of the night is coming in from Angie Wark. And I think there's a little bit of health on it. Let's check.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to witness is not only exciting and educational, but sometimes a bit risky as well. Do not try this at home. It's time for the beverage of the night.
Coming in from Angie Wark. Check it out, folks. This is sparkling ice with caffeine, flavored sparkling water, blue raspberry, 0 sugar. It says hydrate, refresh, and refuel, 0 sugar, caffeine and colors from natural sources, whatever that means, and antioxidants and vitamins. So a big thank you to Angie Wark. I love blue raspberry. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. Folks, they sell these at Walmart, and I'm telling you right now, do not leave in the next 52 minutes because we've got 52 minutes of action coming up. But my goodness, as soon as the show is over, you need to get in your vehicle, drive to Walmart, pick you up a sparkling ice blue raspberry. If you are a cotton candy fan, this tastes just like liquid cotton candy. It's no calories. And it's full of caffeine. Oh my. Big thank you to Angie Wark. Of course, my sidekick is here as normal. Barney?
You haven't been talking to the law. Don't you get smart-nosed with me.
He is ready to roll. And folks, we've got so much stuff to look at tonight. Get ready. It's going to be action-packed. Well, folks, we're going to start tonight in an area that I know that you have been paying attention to. There's no way not to. It is very, very sad day in South Florida. It's actually down in Surfside, Florida. I got a couple pictures there for you. Unfortunately, this condominium has collapsed. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure how that happens. That is a major a bomb didn't go off, but I mean, honestly, that's just what it looks like. And unfortunately, so far, we are up to 4 folks that have lost their lives. And as of going on the air this evening, 159 are unaccounted for. And of course, the conspiracy theories are rolling, plus also the theories rolling of why this happened. But most likely, even in preliminary looks, there was a warning giving against this property 1 year ago that went unheeded, and that was to some foundation issues. And in some measurements, the foundation had sunk up to 12 inches. Warnings went forward. I'm not sure they were heated the way they were supposed to. Maybe they were. I do not know. The other thoughts are that the metal that was used in the structure that was built in the 80s was substandard, and the salt water, because this property right on the ocean, somehow its structure failed, and very unfortunate, 159 unaccounted for. So, the bottom line is you just never know. So we send out prayers tonight. We send out thoughts for those families. I could not imagine the tragedy that they are going through right now and experiencing. If your family lived in that building and the next thing the building's on the ground, I just couldn't imagine. So prayers down there. Rescue teams are still looking. They are hearing people under the rubble banging on things. And I'm sure the best of the best are working that scene. And we just pray that the Lord will be with them. And that 159, how about we just find them all? Probably not going to happen, but let's just pray that some of those are found and recovered, and that the Lord would be with those people down there in Surfside, which is just north of Miami, Florida. Folks, are you ready for this? I just can't believe it. There is a big drum roll going on tonight because there is a miracle in the house. Kamala Harris has visited the border. Kind of. Folks, our leaders in Washington, D.C. are seriously struggling. And I'm not praying ill will on them, because you have to understand things that happen in D.C. affect us. As we listened to Ted Cruz, and even today I uploaded on my YouTube channel the short of that Ted Cruz speech that I had edited and put together. There's still hope, and we are believing that America is going to experience revival, a renaissance of the greatness of America that God has ordained this place to be. It's not over yet, but we do have to deal with the leadership that is in the House. And of course, it had been pushing 90 days that Kamala Harris had been assigned to deal with our southern border, specifically in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, and California. Actually, right there where Annie and the team is heading to the border in Mexico. She was assigned that task, and actually a couple of days ago, President Biden came out in a little speech and said that she was doing a great job because she was dealing with the sources of the problems down in Latin America, dealing with world leaders, like the president of South Korea, who for sure is having a big influence in the illegals coming across the Mexican border, undocumented. So all this smoke and mirrors that she was doing all this great work, which of course she was doing absolutely nothing. How do I know that? Even the Los Angeles Times came out with an article in regard to her activity at the border, and not only at the border, but the other things that she was responsible for. The LA Times came out, which is ultra liberal, blistering her, calling her ineffective in her role as vice president. Those of you that are with me on every Tuesday and Friday, you realize anyway, I've already relegated her to press secretary and Jen Psaki to vice president, because it seems that Psaki probably does more than Biden and Harris combined. I'm not saying she's doing good stuff, but she's at least talking, she in a coherent sentence. Maybe. I don't know. We'll circle back to that. It's a disaster. So we have all this political pressure, not only from the right, the left, and the middle, but even from other nations that were saying, hey, Americans, you need to get involved. You need to take care of your own borders. Even Mexico, Canada, they were discussing these things with our government, talking about how to handle our own border. So under all this political pressure, Vice President Harris makes a politically fraught I love that headline there. And that headline is from NBC News, believe it or not. She makes a politically fraught trip to the United States-Mexico border. And you see there below, Vice President Kamala Harris visits the U.S.-Mexico border as immigration crisis continues. Folks, we've had a border visit. Check out what happened today.
Policy. What did you intend to achieve with this visit? And how do you respond to Republicans who say you should have visited an area along the border that is experiencing more acute immigration problems, such as the Rio Grande Valley?
So first of all, what is happening here in El Paso really is, in many ways, highlights many of the facets on the issue of immigration. It is here in El Paso that the previous administration's child separation policy was unveiled. And so we have seen the disastrous effects of that right here in this region. It is here in El Paso that the return to Mexico policy from the previous administration was implemented. We have seen the disaster that resulted from that.
Vice President, about border security.
Today, I visited the border of El Paso, Texas, which borders Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. And I would just like to report to the American people that our entire border crisis is completely Donald Trump's fault. It is the prior administration's behavior that has brought us to the crisis that we are now at. We have done nothing wrong. It is 100% their fault. And I am here in El Paso, and I am visiting a representative site that shows the problems at all of our borders. Kamala Harris, you have, with all due respect, no clue what you were talking about. You are so confused, dear sister. I have been to El Paso, Texas. I have been to the United States-Mexican border in El Paso, Texas. I have driven around the streets of El Paso, Texas. And one of the things about El Paso, Texas is there is this big concrete wall between El Paso, believe it or not, and a concrete river basin with this long open gap between the United States and Mexico. It is not a border in the desert or in rough terrain. It is two mega cities with a concrete basin built between them with a wall with one of the most controlled, listen to me, controlled U.S.-Mexico checkpoint borders that exist. Why? Because Ciudad Juarez is one of the most dangerous cities in the entire world for drug cartel and murders globally. That is a very secure place. But she went to El Paso, and it was, representative of all the things that are happening. Folks, let me show you something. Take a look at this map right here, and let me teach you tonight a little bit about Texas geography. Let me bring it in a little tighter there. If you look up there where the red arrow is, that is El Paso, Texas, right on the border with Mexico. Right across the border there, and it's under the red arrow, is Ciudad Juarez. I'm actually going to show you a picture in a moment. That is where Vice President Harris was today. Folks, the major problem with the borders that are out of control in Texas is actually down in the red box that I drew. Laredo, McAllen, Mission, Brownsville, all moving up into that southern part, coming up then into San Antonio, Houston, Corpus Christi, Austin. That is the trouble box. And I want you to see just how far away we could go to the most beautiful, safe looking border, and tell America that this is a representation of the border and the crisis. And where the problems exist, it's not our fault. It's Donald Trump and Mike Pence. They're the ones that messed this up royally. Folks, let me show you a picture here. You guys thought I was joking, didn't you? Take a look at this picture. I'm showing you facts. That, my friends, is where Kamala Harris was close to. She didn't even get to that point. She was at the airport. This is the border. That in the front of your screen is the American side with the border control. The right lanes are going into Mexico. Let's see. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars. Let's look at the side coming out of Mexico. It is a sea of cars coming back into the United States. Now, folks, look at the border. Just like I told you, you've got the big concrete basin. You've got the wall in the middle. But this is where Vice President Kamala Harris went to check and see how things are going at the border. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give her a 1. Pathetic. My daughter and the missions team right now is crossing, right now, actually, as we are speaking, into Mexico for a missions trip, and they are crossing a border region that is 100 times more dangerous than where Vice President Harris was today, surrounded by her Secret Service. I don't want to hear it anymore about what these guys are doing at the border. They are absolutely lost. Folks, for those of you that have been in here rolling with us since we started this program, one of the big things that we followed last year was the George Floyd trial, was the George Floyd murder, was Derek Chauvin, the police officer who for 9 minutes put his knee upon his neck. We understand all of that. For those of you that are new viewers, those of you on Integrity Television, we've worked through that whole process for a year following that and, looked at it from different angles. Today was the actual sentencing trial in the Derek Chauvin case. He was accused of second-degree murder. That is what he actually was sentenced for. And today, here is a picture of Derek Chauvin. He was in a gray suit, gray tie. He was sentenced to 22.5 years for the George Floyd second-degree murder case. Now, you may say, okay, 22.5 years, is that a lot? Is that not a lot? Should he have gotten life? Let me explain to you so you understand what's going on. Typically, in these cases, I did a lot of reading on this today, and most police officers in the state of Minnesota or other states that have had second-degree murder charges against them, on average, have been sentenced for about 10 years in prison. Now, in the state of Minnesota, the maximum sentence for this charge is 30 years. That is why I have that number up there. The minimum sentence for second-degree murder in the state of Minnesota is 12.5 years. The judge today made his statement, and in his sentencing, this is what he said. And I will tell you this, Derek Chauvin did apologize to the George Floyd family and offered his condolences. That did happen. He did speak that today out of his own mouth. The judge then passed sentence, and basically, in a nutshell, this is what he said. By law, I can give Derek Chauvin between 12.5 and 30 years. This case has been so hotly contested on either side, I am not going to make a political statement with this trial. We are done with the political statements that have happened due to the George Floyd trial. So today, I am passing sentence that I'm not going to give him the minimum. I'm not going to give him the maximum. I'm going to put it right in the middle, and he is going to serve 22 years in prison. That was how the judge came up with his ruling, and so far things are looking like we are having some decent resolution there. What are you talking about, Rick Barry? I remember when I was a kid, Mom and Dad with Aunt Nina and Uncle Marshall would go to Juarez for a night out. Now it's not safe for a squad of Marines. That's why that border is secure. That's why Kamala Harris went there. Rick Barry, I'm on the edge of making you my sidekick. Maybe not. Maybe not. So, folks, there we have it. Finally, I believe we are moving to some closure in that. Now, of course, you know, we're always following the world events that are going on around the country and around the world. A couple of things happening as America is getting weaker. Here's what is really happening. We, as America, not you and I, but our government right now, is literally destabilizing the world. Look at what's going on. Russia and British destroyers, warships outside of Crimea, which is in the Black Sea, almost lobbed some armament on each other. They came exceedingly close. They were doing warning shots. And Russia, I was on some Russia news sites today, and Russia said, we are not playing with anybody in the Black Sea. Britain, next time our warning shots will not land near you, they will land on you. And Britain replied, you don't want to do that. You lob on us, and we're going to lob on you. Don't pick a fight you can't finish. So, folks, as you can see, the weaker we get on the global stage, which I honestly believe we're the weakest on the global stage we have ever been in the history of the United States. And this administration has only been in for 6 months. Now we have other nations talking like this. We have and are in the process of pulling our troops out of Afghanistan. And I understand that, you know, they've been there fighting, but you have to understand when we do that, we literally destabilize regions by our presence not being there. And Afghanistan is once again being ran over by the Taliban, and it's continuing to grow. And today, President Biden met with Afghani leaders and said, we're going to stick with you as we are withdrawing all of our forces. If you went over to Al Jazeera, I did some reading on Al Jazeera this afternoon, and it's so funny. The translators who were there with the Biden meeting and translators in Afghanistan came out and says, I think Biden is lying about not leaving Afghanis behind. Likewise, right now, Israel is shifting its policy in regard to China. Israel actually has some relations with China, and what is concerning here is Israel is now shifting their tone toward China in a much more strong way, especially in regard to the Uyghurs out in the western part of China that are literally being exterminated by the Chinese government. They are Muslims. You know what's interesting about that? Israel, Jewish, called on China to stop it and condemning its treatment of the Muslim population. Israel also came out and says, listen, this will affect our relationship completely, and just make it known we will stand up against you. So, folks, you can see that as our administration gets weaker, the world becomes more destabilized. Now, why is all of this happening? You know, I'm glad that you asked that question. Why is all of this happening? Today, President Biden made the declaration that pride is back at the White House, signing, listen to this, a Pulse nightclub bill that makes it a national landmark. Now, listen, I am not, going to go back, and I'm not for anything that happened in the Pulse nightclub. And maybe you do not remember this, but the Pulse nightclub is a gay club. And in 2016, there was a shooting there. So has nothing to do with that. That should have never happened, et cetera, et cetera. Not what we're talking about. But my goodness, a few days ago, statue of Christopher Columbus was taken down in New Jersey. And now we are turning the Pulse nightclub into a national landmark, saying that pride is back in the White House. I was looking around today preparing, and even on liberal news sites, right there, America never more politically divided than under Biden. How President Biden handles a divided America will define his legacy. Only 23% of Americans say the country is more united under Biden. I pulled up a tweet there for you guys to read today what President Biden stated. So far this year, hundreds of anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced in state legislatures. Hundreds. Many of them target transgender children. So you realize the conservatives, the ones standing for biblical truth, are just targeting children. No, sir. We're targeting non-biblical standards. You have no clue in your delusion what you are talking about. He says, let's be clear. This is bullying against kids disguised as legislation, and it must stop. Enough is enough. First of all, we know that you didn't write that because that is actually complete sentences. But secondly, your premise is entirely mistaken. We're just trying to get America back to the place where it is biblically based, trusting in God, being a leader in this world, and being a light shining for the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's it. You can disguise it in all this other mess that you want. And you know what? Talking about division, listen to this. Out of President Biden's own mouth, may you hear this.
And by the way, my party, everybody tells me what my party is. My party's divided. Well, my party is divided. My party's divided, but my party is also rational. If they can't get every single thing they want, but all that they have in the bill that before them is good, are they going to vote no? I don't think so.
You know what? It's only 20 seconds. You got to hear that one more time.
And by the way, my party, everybody tells me what my party is. My party's divided. Well, my party is divided. My party's divided, but my party is also rational. If they can't get every single thing they want, but all that they have in the bill that before them is good, are they going to vote no? I don't think so.
Everybody's talking about how divided my party is. Everybody's talking. Well, It is. It is divided. Listen, sir, no explanation can cover what you and your administration are doing. The only thing that can cover what you and your administration are doing is an encounter with the Lord Jesus Christ and the standards that are in the Word of God, the Bible. Until you and your team have an encounter with the truth, this continual degradation of our own understanding is not going to stop from you. You're going to continue to try to disguise it with wise words or, well, stumbling around. But it's not going to happen, President Biden. May somehow somebody get the truth of the gospel to you. This is an absolute disaster because, yeah, well, my party, it is divided, but, I'm going to bring us all together. You can't even bring your own friends together. Good grief. My goodness. So, folks, that got me to thinking when I show you that tweet right there, I wonder how much influence President Joe Biden actually has. How much influence does Joe Biden actually have? I did some looking today, and I decided to make a comparison between Joe Biden and Elon Musk. Who is Elon Musk? Oh, he's the guy that's the CEO of Tesla with all those cars, and he's all for space exploration. The South African who came here, one of the richest men in the world, Elon Musk. So I started thinking, okay, let's take a look at Elon Musk's Twitter account versus President Joe Biden's Twitter account. Let me zoom this in for you here to see. So you can see that President Biden, the president of the United States, oh, you know what? I got to come back to my camera on this one. The president of the United States has pride on his official Twitter. How about putting a Bible on your official Twitter? How about putting a Christian flag on your official Twitter? But no, you've got pride on your official Twitter. But of course, you have no influence, sir. So folks, let me show you. President Biden has 12 million followers. $12 million. Folks, in the world of social media, that's nothing. And what is interesting is it tells me that he's not followed by anyone that I'm following. On the other hand, Elon Musk has 57.4 million followers, basically 5 times the amount of followers. He is basically 5 times more influential just on the Twitter world than President Joe Biden of the United States of America. Andy Morris, you are right, brother. It's just a lot of mess going on. So, folks, you can see the reality of what is happening. So now I've told you guys that we need to keep an eye on what is happening as other nations are looking at America for leadership. You guys know I love watching and following foreign media because in foreign media, you actually hear the truth. You hear not media that is pressured by money or pressured by political views, right, left, or middle. You just hear foreigners talking about America. Check out what Sky News and the guys over there in Australia had to say. This, pretty interesting.
Now, let me let you in on a secret. Well, it's a bit of an open secret, actually. It relates to the leader of the free world and just how he's going in his job and how capable he is of continuing in that job. To explain this, let's go to the White House and let's look at President Joe Biden in the East Room yesterday, where he spoke about infrastructure and he took a few questions. Have a listen.
And you said when people are waiting for relief, I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. A lot has been happened already, number one. Number two, I'm going to fight like heck to get them the rest of what I think has to be done.
He's doing a weird whispering thing, isn't he? Is it a lame joke? Is it condescension? Is it confusion? Maybe it was just a one-off bit of theatre that went awry. Let's move on and see what else he said.
I don't in any way dismiss what Senator Murphy says about the environment. Don't dismiss it at all. Just remind him, I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it?
I hate to tell you this, but this bloke happens to be the president and he's got 3 years left to go in his first term. Maybe I'm overreacting. Surely he just answered like a grown-up for the rest of the event.
I'm not being critical of you all. I really mean this. It was legitimate questions you're asking me. Asking me, well, guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening?
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. And that's the secret, isn't it? That's what we all probably need to face up to. The man is either delusional, confused, or outright bonkers.
Delusional, confused, or outright bonkers. Early in that clip, the commentator, that guy Sharp, he was saying, what is he doing? He's the president. He's the leader of the free world. And when you are whispering to somebody, most of the time, that is being condescending. Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but that guy just called President Biden delusional or bonkers. We got to be careful. You're the president of the United States. My goodness. Folks, we have to really pray for those that are in D.C. Stan Reynolds, I see you there. Bonkers is the word. Ray Suhuliga coming in with all three. Yeah, we got to be careful, guys. Folks, honestly, this is what's sad. This is how people are viewing America. And just like he said, this bloke has got 3 more years. Are you kidding me? Folks, we better be praying for America. One of the reporters asked the question, well, people aren't working, people aren't getting jobs. Today, my son and I had to go get some waters from Walmart and here locally in our town. And we walked in and we noticed that the Subway was gone. I asked the person standing there, I said, hey, that works at Walmart. I said, hey, what happened to the Subway that was here? I said, I kind of like that place. Couldn't get anybody to work. Folks, right now we are in a very, very dangerous situation in our country. And I've got a question for you tonight. I've got a question for you. how are things going on the financial front? You know, one of the most brilliant economists in the world, his name is Charlie Bilello. He is the founder and CEO of Compound Capital Advisors. He's one of Elon Musk's best friends. I follow all these people to try to learn some different things. But folks, here's what's going on in America right now in June of 2021. Used vehicles on average are up 32% this year. Wagons up 16%, pickups up 46%, sedans, convertibles, coupes. It's all broken down. He's done all the math. They're all up at least 22% in price. Global inflation rates. America, look at us. Switzerland at the bottom with 0.6%. You then go to Hong Kong, Australia, Portugal, China, Italy, France, China, global inflation rate of 1.3%. Let's jump on down. The United States, 5.0% CPI. That is a global inflation rate. The only ones that are above us globally are South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Russia, India, Brazil, Turkey, Argentina, and Venezuela. Folks, there are some troubling times ahead if we do not get stabilized in the very near future. He put out a report yesterday that over the past 6 months, lumber up 104%, natural gas 98%, crude oil 81%, heating oil 78%, and it goes on. Gasoline 75%, corn 65%, copper 63%, coffee 57%, soybeans 49%, cotton 46%. Silver, sugar, wheat, palladium, platinum. But gold, just 0.1%. Folks, that's the deal. Ray Suhaliga, I might get in trouble if I answer that. And Ronald Leanne Van de Vander, you are correct. They're getting paid to stay home. Listen, no, 2020 was tough. We're thankful for, help and things that our government did do to help people that truly were in need. But folks, it's time to get back to work, and it's time to get things going. I see you there. Come on. You guys are on fire tonight on a Friday night. Sean Mack, Biden's out of touch. I believe he is simply a puppet. For that, sir, I agree. They need Jesus, and we need a complete change in our country. I found something very, very interesting today, and I want to share it with you. There was recently a conference that happened in the Western United States. It was a conference that included an equal amount, and it was put on by the Centennial Institute. And there was like 384 people there, and they drew in an equal amount of Republicans, Democrats, liberals, progressives, middle of the roads, and they did some straw polling. Come on, Bill LaSpada. I see you jumping in here. Get back to work and get back to church. Come on, my man. So this event that happened out, and I believe it actually took place in Utah, but it brought together these 384 people, and they were doing some straw polling, all from different backgrounds. I want you to take a look at what happened here. The voting took place, and it was showing the different things that people cared about. And remember, this is across political lines. Immigration, 82%. Election integrity, 79%. Religious freedom, 74%. Budgets, 74%. Gun rights, 73%. National defense, 71%. Now the numbers start dropping. Energy independence, education, China and Russia, 60% and above. Life and abortion, 55%, media bias, 55%, and so on and so on. COVID, 9%, diversity, equity, inclusion, LGBTQ plus, 5 and 4%, respectively. Folks, this was a straw poll, 384 people that were a part of this event. And I think it's just an interesting look, because the reality is when you get out and you begin to have educated people, educated conversations with people, and you're able to talk about issues in an open way and share multiple viewpoints, many times, unless they're just bonkers, you find out that there are a lot of places you have in common, and you can work together to make things better. Folks, it is a beautiful evening, and I have something I want to share with you guys tonight that I think is going to blow you away. You know, we love just getting blown away, and we've got, you know, great groups in here on Facebook, YouTube, and Integrity Television. Thank you guys so much for being a part. But I discovered this guy. Of course, he's very famous. His name is Arthur C. Clarke. He was born in 1917. He passed away in 2008. British citizen, World War II veteran. He was knighted in 1998. He was a writer, inventor, dreamer. He is the guy that is responsible for inventing orbiting satellites, by which even you are watching this broadcast, most likely, is through some access of global satellite systems beaming information around the globe. This is Arthur C. Clarke. Maybe you've heard of the book or the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey. That, my friends, was written by Arthur C. Clarke. He has a famous quote attributed to him. If an elderly but distinguished scientist says that something is possible, he is almost certainly right. But if he says that it is impossible, he is very probably wrong. You know, I came across a video clip of Arthur C. Clarke. This video clip was filmed in 1964. 1964. 74, 84, 94, 04, 14, 21, 57 years ago. You know, many times we think that the only ones that can talk about the future are true prophets of God. And of course, we believe in the prophetic gift. We believe in prophetic ministry. But folks, I'm going to tell you something. There is insight that certain people have. Many times I will tell you that the only ones qualified to talk about the future are true prophets of God and historians, because historians looking backwards can many times see forward. But this guy right here, Arthur C. Clarke, was a visionary. He was a dreamer. He was an inventor. He was a brilliant, brilliant human being. He never accepted Christ as his Savior. He determined himself to be an atheist. But somehow you can see just what God could have done if this man had surrendered his life to Christ. But folks, in 1964, he started talking, and it was filmed, and I want you to hear it tonight. It's kind of out there. Arthur Clarke.
But what about the city of the day after tomorrow, say the year 2000? I think it will be completely different. In fact, it may not even exist at all. Oh, I'm not thinking of the atom bomb and the next Stone Age. I'm thinking of the incredible breakthrough which has been made possible by developments in communications, particularly the transistor and, above all, the communications satellite. These things will make possible a world in which we can be in instant contact with each other, wherever we may be, where we can contact our friends anywhere on Earth, even if we don't know their actual physical location. It will be possible in that age, perhaps only 50 years from now, for a man to conduct his business from Tahiti or Bali just as well as he could from London. In fact, if it proves worthwhile, almost any executive skill, any administrative skill, even any physical skill, could be made independent of distance. I am perfectly serious when I suggest that one day we may have brain surgeons in Edinburgh operating on patients in New Zealand. When that time comes, the whole world will have shrunk to a point, and the traditional role of the city as a meeting place for man would have ceased to make any sense. In fact, men will no longer commute, they will communicate. They won't have to travel for business anymore, they'll only travel for pleasure. I only hope that when that day comes, and when the city is abolished, the whole world isn't turned into one giant suburb.
Are you kidding me? Arthur C. Clarke. Folks, when I came across that, it blew me away. That gentleman, just described our world. That, my friends, is unbelievable. My point for showing you that tonight is this. You know, we get to the point where we're talking about the things that are going on in our country. We're talking about the things that are going on around our world. And then you know what happens. PG comes up with something crazy to show you guys, and it just blows you away. And maybe you're sitting there tonight and you're going, oh my goodness, this guy was knowing that in 1964, and now our world is spinning out of control. Our country is going to the whatever. It's going somewhere. Don't worry, I will not be whispering. It is so disrespectful. But it causes you concern. Maybe you're sitting there on this night and you're going, man, all this stuff is going on. That dude back there knew all this stuff was going to happen. Is the Lord really in control of all of this? Is he really holding everything in the palm of his hand? And I'm here to tell you tonight that 100% he is. And this is what I would share with you as we're closing out tonight. My dear friends, I want to encourage you to conquer fear every day in your life. In fact, I want you to think about the word fear in a different way. If you look there under that graphic, there's a little acronym that we are using tonight called false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. The first letters, of course, making up the word fear. Maybe in your life there is false evidence that appears real, but I'm here to tell you tonight that there is no reason to fear, that the Lord is still sovereign and in control. The scripture says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. You know, when we go through this on Tuesdays and Fridays and the program is growing and things are going great, even behind the scenes that many of you don't know about, the best is yet to come. It's important that we understand we do not walk in fear because God has given us power, love. And one of the reasons that we do this twice a week right now, and who knows, maybe more in the future again, is because we need a sound mind. Joshua was told, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. My dear friends, tonight, I just encourage you to be encouraged. Conquer fear every day in your life, because fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real. May the Lord bless you guys. Facebook, YouTube, Integrity Television. It has been an awesome, awesome night. We love you guys. We'll catch you later. Have a great evening. God bless you, and God bless America.